So let's get into this a little bit. Your mom had OCD? Has?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think so. She was a germaphobe, but I don't think she had OCD. You know, the problem for me, and that's what I do, and we could talk about it a little later, but I work for an OCD. What I started realizing, and this is not the case with you, I know, but you know, OCD has become part of the vernacular in as far as, you know, I don't know how many times a week somebody will come up to me and go, I'm like you, I have OCD, you know. And
I hear it all the time.
You hear it all the time.
And I go, yeah, like what? Tell me.
Right, but I don't even do that. I just know that it's become because people don't understand it. And OCD, if somebody's neat or somebody needs to have things in order, or they're persnickety, or they like to stay incredibly clean, which I think my mom overdid with the germ thing, but that's not OCD. And I think most people who have OCD have gone and continue to go undiagnosed. And when you're undiagnosed, you're not taking care of it. But,
so you got exposed on the Howard Stern show, and
well, exposed for having I exposed myself.
Yeah,
yes.
Exposed yourself, but didn't really think that was the best idea in the whole world.
You're in my generation. There still is a huge stigma attached to mental health issues.
There is, and you can tell the story better than me. But there were some guys playing with their junk at Stern show.
Yeah.
And
they touched the door.
Didn't want to touch the door.
Right, because they did. And they didn't wash their hands.
Yeah, exactly. And the story was
that it was. I thought they thought it was funny when I was leaving. I said somebody I couldn't touch it, and when I tried to pick up a Kleenex to touch the door, they pushed the Kleenex away, and I started to have a panic attack, and which just feels like a heart attack. I couldn't breathe, and I thought I was going to pass out. And in that moment, I said to Howard and everybody in the room, you know, I know this is funny, but you're gonna have to call 911 because I have an issue. I have something called obsessive compulsive disorder. I'm on medication. I see a psychiatrist. Please just open the door now. Open the door. I'm going to pass out. And they opened the door. And when I walked out in the hall, I thought we were in a commercial. And when I walked out in the hall, I heard them talking about what just happened on the speakers overhead. And I went, fuck. What I just said, no. I didn't say it to Howard. I said it to the nation.
Yep.
You know, and at that time, you know, my first thought was, holy shit.
My career's over.
Well, that was second. First, it was I just embarrassed my family. You know, my kids go to school and I've just said something terrible. You know, how my family going to deal with the fact that their father and husband just went on national radio to say he's a mental case?
So you go downstairs and a guy runs into you and says,
were you on Howard Stern? And I said, yeah. And I was about to run into traffic. I didn't know what the fuck to do.
Did you really want to just?
I didn't know what to do. I was like beside myself. I was like panicking inside. And he said, were you on Howard Stern? And I said, yes. And he goes, I heard it. And I went, fuck. And then he went, me too. And I went, what does that mean? Me too. This is before Harvey Weinstein. And he says, I have that too. I suffer from that. It was so good to hear you talk about it. I go, really? And that made me, that's the first time I was really cognizant of not being the only one, of not being alone, and that kind of felt good. And his words were such a panacea, were such a lifesaver to me. And as it turned out, you know, within the next few weeks, we didn't have the internet then, and there was no such thing as email. I started getting mail, you know, and I got flooded with so many letters from people saying that, you know, I heard you on Howard Stern and this has been so helpful and I love this.